Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be going over a review for the Stacatto 2011 P DPO. It's the version that's milled for a Delta Point optic direct mount. This is my everyday carry gun, so we're going to be going over my thoughts on things you should take into consideration if you're thinking about choosing this gun or a gun about this size for everyday carry, and just some things you should probably think about and weigh your options to see if this is the right gun for you. All right, we're gonna get into it. You're gonna have to excuse my absolutely destitute background that I'm currently working with. I'm moving some stuff around, so you're gonna have to excuse that. It'll look better in the future. But the first thing you should take into consideration is size and concealability. For a lot of people, that's a big deal. For me, not so much. After you realize that everyone's on their phone and no one's looking at you and no one really cares, it becomes kind of less of a big deal to me. Unless you're in a state where like signs carry like the weight of law, that's different, but it's not how it is in my area, so it's not really something I care about. So concealability on this thing is pretty terrible, to be honest. It's a large gun. Even taken out, if you do like a flush fit magazine, it's still pretty bad. I'll show you. It's like, so from the front, it's not too bad generally. From the side is kind of where you start printing quite a bit. It's mostly this magwell. The magwell likes to stick out quite a bit. Like I said, no one really is looking at you generally. No one cares. It's not really that big of a deal to me. So it's not really something I tend to care about all that much. If you're a like swollen, overgrown monster of a person, this probably isn't going to be the gun. Like this gun is going to, I think, freaking kick way out on you. I think it'll be very noticeable if that's something that's important to you. For normal sized, I'm talking about Americans here, I guess. For not obese people, I think you'll be okay. I think your concealability is going to be just fine. I've never had anyone notice I'm ever carrying a gun, especially people that don't like generally know me. And then like if we ever go shooting and I'm like, I bring it out, they're like completely astounded that they've never noticed it before. I think that's just, like I said, most everyone's on their phone. No one really cares. No one's looking at you. So that's my points on concealability. It's not very concealable, but to me, it doesn't really matter all that much. All right, for my next point, we're going to be talking about capacity. On the Stacatto, on the extended magazine, it's 20, so you'd be at 21. You'd be at 21 if you're carrying one of these. I carry the flush fit. I think the flush fits are like 16 or 17 rounds. I think it's 17, so you'd be like 18 rounds on you. That's pretty much up to par with modern, polymer framed striker fired pistols. There are some that are better than this. I think the CZ P09 has like a pretty high flush fit magazine. I think it's like 20 rounds in the magazine. It's something crazy. This should get you done. This should get you through anything you would realistically come into contact with, hopefully. If you're having to burn through a couple of these magazines, you're not having a good night. But hopefully you would never have to, obviously. But so capacity, it's not a slouch. You're not going to be wanting for any more capacity. This is pretty good. So the next thing we're going to be going over is just overall shootability. This pistol is, I've had a lot of handguns, and this is by far my most favorite handgun I've ever owned. It's also like 2 or 3 times the price of any other handgun I've ever bought. But to me, it's pretty worth it. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to handguns. I also just like things that are not, I don't love, Glock 19, Glock 17, it's not gonna do it for me. Having a gun that's a bit different, a little wacky, a little kooky, a little hot, a little dangerous. That's kind of where I'm at. That's what I like. So overall shootability on this is pretty great. You can hit targets at really funny distances with this handgun because the trigger's so good, and it's just an accurate. You've got a bull barrel there. If you can see how thick that barrel is, it's a very accurate handgun, especially if you do your part and you throw a red dot on top. Also in shootability, if you're used to shooting striker fired pistols, like Glocks especially, you get used to the Glock grip where you like to like this thumb tries to get out almost as far as possible. That type of stuff does not work for this gun. The recoil impulse gets kind of funky if you do that, in my opinion, in my experience. So when you're shooting it, I started trying to put my thumb up here, like on the light, to push down and kind of control recoil. It's not even needed. It kind of just makes it off balance. This right here, where you would generally, think of putting your thumb, but if you get more leverage up here, that would make sense. But putting your thumb right here and just having a full, very natural, no overextension Glock grip, just having an all natural grip like that will get you done. Other considerations would be striker fired pistol, modern striker fired versus, hammer fired. Just some things to think about. I don't like guns with manual safeties. I stay away from them usually. After messing with this, it is not that bad. Like, not for every manual safety. For this gun specifically, it is not bad. It is basically, whenever my hand comes onto the gun, that safety's off. Safety off, ready to go. It doesn't get in the way. I don't like this grip safety. I usually tape it down, but I took it off for the sake of this. I don't like that because if you're ever trying to fire from retention, sometimes it can get a little weird. It can kind of get a little funky, and sometimes it just doesn't feel right. I don't like having something moving on the back of my handgun. So like I said, I usually tape that down. I might have it pinned at some point. But just some things you consider. This is not a striker fired pistol. The trigger is pretty amazing. I can ghost it for you guys. It is just a sweet shooting pistol. Like I said, past any striker fired pistol I've ever shot, I would take this any day over it. We're gonna go ahead and ghost that trigger. All right, so safety off. We're gonna make sure we're clear. So safety off. So little bit of take up, hitting the wall right there. We're gonna do that one more time. So little bit of take up, hit the wall, fire. There's no over travel, and there's hardly any creep. It's very hard to detect. So hit the wall, pulling, little creep right there, fire. It's hardly anything. We'll check the reset. The reset's pretty good on it too. So fire. Here's the reset, letting go. Reset, fire. It's pretty good. So that basically wraps up my review of this handgun. This is a great choice of a handgun, very quality firearm. If you need it for everyday carry, home defense, anything like that, I think this is a great gun to consider. Like I said, just at a higher price point, but you get an amazing trigger, a manual safety if that's something you're into that is very passive. You can freaking snap that thing on and off so quickly. Super accurate, very reliable handgun. If that's something you're looking for, I wouldn't hesitate to pick something like this up. I think I was kind of skeptical, and then as soon as I picked one up at a gun store, I was like, frick, I'm about to spend like almost $3 grand on a handgun. So it's a good handgun. I wouldn't hesitate to grab one. I think that basically wraps it up, guys. I want to do some other reviews, maybe this versus a My buddy has a Langdon Tactical Beretta 92. I kind of want to do a comparison because that's also a very good and expensive handgun, kind of in the same vein as this. If that's something you guys would like to see, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that crap. I might do that. I might do this kind of compared to the Beretta, compared to like a normal modern striker fire handgun. I think that would be kind of a cool video to do. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Oh, you little bastard.